welcome back, guys. This is my Rando Reacts. So, I'll be reacting to Absolute Worst Challenges on Man vs. Food. This is from Mashed, with the red M and white background. There's a blue M, or white M and blue background. I don't know what they do, but I've subscribed to this Mashed, and you should too. If you like what I do, please like, share, subscribe, notify bell, click it, and check out my Facebook and Twitter. Links are in the description, along with links for this, so you can watch it without me being blah, 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 or whatever you don't like about me. But still, I used to watch Man vs. Food all the time. I quit watching. Well, the other guy that took his place because I think it was some type of it was a stupid reason. He made he didn't make a joke, but he said something pertaining to anorexia or something. I don't know, but it came off wrong in text. If he had said it out loud, you would have understood what he said, but instead in text, it's just flat black and white. So yeah, he lost his job. So yeah, but now he's doing something on. He's doing Modern Marvels on History Channel. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the absolute worst challenges on Man vs. Food. So let's get on with it. Like, share, and subscribe if you like this video. Leave me a comment. Leave a comment. Leave a comment. Leave a comment. Links are in the description. Links for this will be in the description. So let's go.
Some challenges on Man vs. Food were better than others, and some were downright painful to watch. It's time to revisit a few of the most crushing defeats and painful victories that Adam Richman faced while he hosted the show. Scarfing down 12 wings in just 10 minutes seems doable. In theory, you should be able to just shove them in your mouth and be done with it. The problem is that these wings were coated with 6 ounces of dried habanero pepper, and out of the 9,000 people who have attempted the challenge, 80% failed. The good news is that Richman won, but the sheer pain that he was in during and after the challenge is enough to make a person think twice about ever eating a hot wing again. If eating the wings wasn't bad enough, Richman had to lick the thick sauce from his fingers or be disqualified.
Fingers!
Hey, at least it couldn't get any worse, right? Wrong. Upon finishing the wings and licking his fingers clean, Richman had to sit in tongue-searing pain for 5 minutes before he could extinguish the fire with a glass of milk. We'd like to tell you that's where the pain ended, but even after the challenge was over, Richman was still pacing around behind the...
Yeah, I think I've seen this one, if I'm not mistaken. He goes into a freezer, if it's the one I'm thinking it is.
Restaurant, waiting for the burn to subside.
Those last 5 minutes almost killed me. Breathing, just moving all those spices around, they're still in between my knuckles.
No free t-shirt is worth that sort of pain. Pancakes
Well, that wasn't the one, but there was one where he ate, I think they was Diablo wings or something. It might be on here. But yeah, he did the challenge, but yeah, he was literally standing in a freezer while he was drinking milk so he could cool himself down.
Have been one of the most popular breakfast foods for ages, but they seem to feel like sandbags in your stomach. Richman and the Man vs. Food team traveled to Hawaii just to take on a stack of pancakes nearly as big as the Pacific Ocean. Sure, 3 pounds of pancakes and a pound of toppings looks delicious, but let's be realistic. Eating that many carbs doesn't seem humanly possible. According to Mac 24/7's chef, the challenge has less than a 1% success rate.
Pray for me.
Unfortunately for Richman, he wasn't able to boost that success rate, and halfway through, he hit a syrupy wall.
Battle of Man versus Pancake. Today, sadly, food won.
Should you find yourself at Mac 24/7, don't try to be the big kahuna by ordering this challenge. Just get a short stack like a reasonable person. Even the most passionate of oyster fans would likely turn green at the idea of eating 180 of the slippery sea creatures. With so much good food in the city of New Orleans, sitting down to a plate of 15 dozen oysters seems like an exercise in stomach sickness. Nevertheless, that was the challenge that awaited Richman.
Or futility.
And it took its toll on him.
I feel very queasy.
Over 150 people had tried, and 28 had succeeded when this episode premiered in 2009, and Richman was able to pound through the oysters. In the end, he did indeed become a member of the 15 Dozen Club.
In the battle of Man versus Food, yet again, this one goes to Man.
Proceed with caution if you fancy yourself stepping up to the plate at Acme Oyster House. It pretty much ruined oysters for Richman. According to the Mirror, he later said, "After the oyster challenge, I think I may have had less than a dozen since. It just turned me off." Richmond was no stranger to burgers while filming Man vs. Food, but none of them could hold a French fry to the behemoth he would go up against in Michigan. Known as the Absolutely Ridiculous Burger, it lived up to its name and clocked in at 190 pounds. With the title of the biggest burger ever made, there was simply no way Richmond would be able to defeat the Goliath on his own. The solution? Recruit a 40-person army of eaters to chew away at the beefy monster. Despite having hockey players, firefighters, a KISS tribute act, and more fearless volunteers back him up, you can't help but watch this challenge and doubt they'll finish it before even a single bite is taken. The fun of Man vs. Food is that there's a real possibility that the host will beat his food challenger. But even with 40 people chowing down, they'd each have to eat nearly 5 pounds of burger. The entire room and everyone watching seemed to be glad when the challenge and their meat sweats came to an end with more than 30 pounds of food left. And frankly, we can't blame them.
In the Battle of Man vs. Food, Detroit, Michigan, this round goes to food.
But not every food fight ends in despair. More often than not, Richmond emerges victorious against the ridiculous foods in front of him. Here are some of his greatest victories. Richmond has certainly faced down his share of spicy challengers over the years and been brought to his knees
I seen this one when it was on TV. I don't know if it was live, but I've seen it on TV. This is crazy.
by as little as a single chicken wing. So how would he fare against a tuna roll? The Hellfire is anything but your ordinary sushi challenge, and participants must pass qualifier rounds of heat before they can even enter Kobe Sushi's 7th Ring of Fire. It may just be a tuna roll, but with layers of Thai chilies lined throughout, it's definitely not a guppy of a challenge. Fortunately, the challenge has no time limit, and Richmond was permitted to drink and eat whatever he wanted to offset the heat. Considering that Richmond looked like he was about to spontaneously combust, it's pretty remarkable that he advanced to and finished the 7th Ring of Hellfire. This challenge may not be one that the average sushi lover would be up for trying, but it's certainly thrilling to watch Richmond forge on to victory.
I am in much pain. I ate the spicy sushi. Pray for me, my friends.
Burritos were a recurring nemesis for Richmond on Man vs. Food, and more than once ended with food conquering man. But considering the popularity of burritos, the show kept finding new places with overstuffed tortillas for Richmond to try and defeat.
I have 90 minutes to devour a 6-pound, 2-foot-long burrito.
The 4-pound gigante on its own would have been a worthy opponent for Richmond, but he also had to take down its tag team partners, a half-pound of mac and cheese and a half-pound of banana pudding.
I have never wanted to skip dessert so badly.
Nobody had ever entered the ring with Gigante and come out a winner. Simply conquering Gigante and winning his first burrito challenge would be enough to land Richmond major accolades. He took things a step further, however, and devoured half the burrito just 5 minutes into the hour-long challenge. Perhaps it was losing those other burrito challenges, but Richmond made sure not to, in his words, let painful history repeat itself. Watching this challenge, you can't help but root along with the Tennessee crowd as he becomes Gigante's only victor just 29 minutes in. Reindeer sausage and Alaskan crab legs weren't exactly common fare on Richmond's Man vs. Food travels, but the unique cuisine of this food challenge places it firmly in our best of category. In a Reddit Ask Me Anything session, Richmond even confessed that it was his favorite challenge in the entire series.
Wait a minute. You're serving me a meal on a welcome mat.
Oh, absolutely.
The 6-pound Alaskan feast includes wild salmon cakes, grilled veggies, and mashed potatoes, along with the crab legs and reindeer sausage. Oh, and dessert, because after eating 3 pounds of crab meat, you need some ice cream to top it off. Richmond had 90 minutes to devour the meal fit for a camp of lumberjacks.
Dozens have tried and none have succeeded.
None.
None.
Great odds. Awesome. So psyched.
After spending 15 minutes cracking open the crab legs before getting a single bite, Richmond could have easily been doomed for defeat. But rather than go back to the lower 48 states with his head hanging in shame, Richmond pushed through to give the Kodiak Arrest its first win. The saying, "things are bigger in Texas," is true to ridiculous proportions at this Texas steakhouse. The Big Texan is no stranger to food shows and has appeared on the Great Food Truck Race and Anthony Bourdain's No Reservations. But when this Man vs. Food episode premiered in 2008, Richmond was still a rookie in the food competition game. The 72-ounce steak is the final boss of food challenges, and competitors are only given an hour to eat it. If gnawing away at what probably seems like an entire cow wasn't daunting enough, Richmond also had to consume a salad, shrimp cocktail, baked potato, and dinner roll. On the plus side, the meal was free if he finished it all and didn't die. Woohoo!
This is crazy. This is crazy.
Somehow the food gods smiled upon Richmond that day, and he was able to finish not just the steak, but the full challenge without having a heart attack. And the icing on top? He did it all in under 30 minutes. Quantity challenges seem to be especially tough for Adam Richmond, and by the end of many an episode, he looked like he'd been put through the ringer. At the Ohio Deli, Richmond was given the task of eating a comically tall sandwich and pound of fries. In an interview with The Guardian, he discussed just how tough bread and potatoes can be. If you do a quantity challenge, the problem you'd face would be a starchy challenge. If it has a lot of potatoes, a lot of bread, or fried elements, that's difficult. While the Dagwood match was far from the biggest challenge, in fact, it was actually one of his easiest, it lands on our list because it was pivotal for the success of the show. In an interview with Bizarre Foods host Andrew Zimmern, Richmond said it was a real learning experience and helped him develop specific game plans for the challenges.
Here's my strategy. I'm gonna break this into 4 mini sandwiches and put French fries right on the sandwich themselves.
If he hadn't stumbled upon a strategy and won this challenge early on, who knows? Man vs. Food could have been over and done with after a few episodes. The kitchen sink ice cream challenge was a ridiculous 2-pound dessert that was loaded up with 8 enormous scoops of ice cream, plus toppings and whipped cream. It needed to be finished in an hour or less, and only 4 people had succeeded at the time of filming, so the odds were definitely not in Richmond's favor. Being able to pick the ice cream flavors had to be a plus, but a starchy strategy proved to be the real key to defeating this frozen giant. After hitting a sugar overload, Richmond seemed like he may have been down for the count.
In the words of William Shakespeare, this totally sucks.
But then he ordered fries to contrast the sweetness. As he pushed forward and drank the last drops of melted ice cream, he declared,
I'm gonna wrestle to the ground like a demon cobra.
Some Man vs. Food challenges become a thing of legend, and the kitchen sink is one of them. Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more mashed videos about your favorite stuff.
Well, yeah, some of those I've seen, some of those I didn't know about, and yeah, I don't know. I don't see how he ate like steak after some of those, or like I said, he can eat oysters after the oyster one or whatever. Yeah, pretty crazy. But I love the show, and I figured it'd be neat. If you want to watch more of those, go to Mashed, click and subscribe like I did, and if you like what I did, just like, share, and subscribe on my stuff, and leave a comment.